And finally, we're going to sit here, wrap up the Pick Six series of podcasts here. Obviously, six different races, six different guests, basically six of my friends because, I mean, who wants to watch? I was going to say Ed DeRosa, but Ed DeRosa is also a friend, so that's a bad example. But who wants to, like, I don't know, hear one of the TVG personalities break down a race? No. Let's get the real people in here. Mr. Firehouse Racing, Ryan Dickey himself. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing great, but I wish you wouldn't have let me know that I'm the anchor here, that I'm the payout leg.
Well, we did these out of order
Okay.
because originally, and I think I've told this story before. Originally, what I was going to do is just put it all into one like super long video,
Hmm.
and then I realized that like with everyone's schedule and how everything worked out, I wouldn't get anything out until like Thursday afternoon.
Hmm.
And I'm like, by Thursday afternoon, people are just like, I think no one's going to sit down and watch an hour and a half, 2 hour thing on Thursday afternoon. But 10-15 minute video, much more likely. So we kind of
Yeah.
broke it out. But this is actually leg four
Oh,
of
okay.
the pick six. The payout leg obviously being the Kentucky Derby, and we'll get some brief thoughts on that. But yeah, leg four here, the Grade One Churchill Down Stakes. Funny story. I told you let's do the Churchill Down Stakes, and you prepared all the stakes.
Yeah.
Uh,
I prepared for all the stakes at Churchill Downs. That's how dumb I am.
I mean, it's
So
pretty
maybe it's
funny.
good. Maybe it's good I'm not in the payoff leg. Maybe if I'm here, then you can get on to other tickets because I'm just dumb.
But this is the Cody's Wish race. Number seven in this spot at 4-5. Overwhelming favorite in this race. I think you also have the 10 horse endorsed in here. Who's a pretty accomplished horse in his own right. Tejano Twist, White Abario, who as of now is still entered, but we'll see. There's been a little bit of we won't get too negative, but maybe his entry's a little up in the air at this spot. But honestly, this is one of those races where like if Cody's Wish wasn't in here, this would be a really really wide open race.
Mhm.
But I think he looms pretty large in here, and I think this is one of those spots where you're kind of gonna have an opinion right away on what you're gonna do with the seven.
I mean, if you don't use him, what are you even doing? But the question is he a single? And I submit to you, no, he is not.
And why do you think that? What do you got against Mr. Cody's Wish here in the spot?
I don't think he's going to be forwardly placed, and I think this is a race. 7 furlong at Churchill Downs. It's one turn, obviously. It's a sprint. I think there's a chance that someone near the front, whether it's they're both long shots, Fortin Hill or Sir Alfred James. I think there's a good chance that those two can be caught by a horse that sits a little bit off the pace. And the horse that I like in that situation is CZ Rocket. I think CZ Rocket for Peter Miller is going to be overlooked here. He's 10-1 on the morning line, but so many people are going to single Cody's Wish and be hammering Cody's Wish that I think that we can get CZ Rocket a little bit higher than that. So, yes, the scratch of White Abario might loom large here, but I want to use some horses in here that aren't as far back as Cody's Wish. And the two that I landed on are CZ Rocket and Hoist the Gold. Dallas Stewart, always on big horse racing days, he'll always have someone primed and ready to go. And I think this is the one for the weekend that he'll have. I think Hoist the Gold, super sneaky, 30-1 on the morning line. I think either him or CZ Rocket have the best chance to upset Cody's Wish.
Yeah, I was a little interested in CZ Rocket when he went over to Dubai. Kind of came off that um came off like he kind of disappeared for a little bit, right? And just kind of, I don't know, had a bit of an off year. He's 9 now, so obviously his best days are behind him. But last year and even the beginning of this year, I mean, he ran second in that Breeders' Cup Sprint. Came back, ran second in the allowance at Oaklawn, went over to Dubai. Um, And I don't really know what happened there. He just, he kind of was just mid pack and was just kind of running, loping along, and didn't really do much there. But since coming back, has been working really, really well, firing a bullet at St. Louis Ray there, 47-3. So yeah, I mean, a Peter Miller horse sprinting is always dangerous. Hoist the Gold, the 4 horse is one I've heard other people kind of other friends of mine talk about a little bit. And yeah, that this might just be a horse that wants 7 furlongs. You know, and that's a little bit, I think, my question on Cody's Wish. Cody's Wish seems to have do his best running going a mile, which usually translates to 7 furlongs. But 1 to 4 go over Jackie's Warrior, and that was just kind of, I think, the beginning of the end for Jackie's Warrior, where you kind of were like, maybe this isn't the same horse anymore. Cody's Wish obviously took that step forward, kind of, became the big horse kind of in this division. But I don't know, 7 furlongs. The 4 go number is nice, but they've tried him a little bit longer. He hasn't liked it. They tried to break his maiden at 7 furlongs, and it took a little bit. So maybe you got a little question about the distance. I pulled up the optics plot here, and surface the distance. He's sitting down here in Q4 is kind of a closing type. Interestingly, the horse that we've talked about, named a couple times already, and might be possible scratch, might not. I mean, we don't know yet. White Barrio actually looks really good on the surface of distance plot here. I know it's a yellow plot fit, so we don't necessarily, it might not translate 100%, but White Barrio being a Q1 square in this race, in a race that didn't seem to have a ton of just absolute frontline speed. I mean, you got the 8 Fortin Hill, who seems to be, is going to be your speed of the speed, and I'm a little interested in. I'd want to have him at least on a ticket or two, just because he is going to get the lead, and there just doesn't seem to be a lot of pace, and even though Cody's Wish is the best of the closers. I mean, is he going to be more forwardly placed on the slow pace, or is he just going to hope to still try and kick out kick everybody when he's going to give up a bit in the on the front end there?
I mean, the layoff, it's a 182-day layoff since the Dirt Mile, which he won, obviously. A horse like Hoist the Gold, he hasn't won. It's been a long time since he's won, but that's baked into the odds at 30-1. I just don't see the pace being so fast that you're going to have a horse coming off a big layoff, spotting the leaders that much room, and then being able to close, especially if it rains, which I'm not sure it's going to rain so much on Saturday as it is on Friday. But if it's a not exactly the fastest track, I think you're going to want someone that's a front runner or stalker. I don't think deep closer in a 7 furlong race is something that you're going to want. But if you're playing, I don't want to put up an anti-ITP ticket here, but you got to use Cody's Wish. But if you're just betting the race to win, obviously you're not betting Cody's Wish at all. And I would much rather have money on Hoist the Gold and CZ Rocket than I would at what's probably going to be, he's 4 to 5 in the morning line, but he's going to be odds on for sure.
Yeah. The other horse I kind of want to talk about is the 10 Endorsed,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he's a really, really nice horse. Has at least one pretty good race, 1 or 2 good races here at Churchill Downs. Hasn't won here, but the question with him is the Gulfstream form going to carry over? Obviously, 3 for 3. Won a 7 furlong race, open lengths. Won the Fred Hooper. Won the Gulfstream Park Mile. Cutting back here. And he's definitely, I think he's another one that's gonna be forwardly placed. Not necessarily on the lead, but I don't see this horse being more than a length and a half off the front, and I think that might set up nicely for a horse like Endorsed.
Yeah, he's one that I want to use underneath for sure. And if you look back to last June when he ran in a allowance race, Caddo River beat him. But the look at the horses that were in that race: Caddo River, Endorsed, even Heart Rhythm. Those are some decent horses. And if you look at that was an allowance race and not a stakes race at Churchill, it's just it's not mind boggling, but it really gives you some pause. That was a heck of a race, and he finished second. Um, but the number he put up in that race is nowhere near what a horse like Cody's Wish could do on his best. So I'm going to use Cody's Wish underneath, but also Endorsed underneath, and I think maybe you're going to want to use one of those front runners that can just hold on for a piece. So maybe Sir Alfred James at 50-1 could be the exacta or trifecta enhancer.
Yeah, and I mean, worst case is, maybe Sir Alfred James doesn't run well here. I think he's also going to run on Sunday, because Mr. Norman Cash runs his horses like every other day. It seems like. But yeah, I mean, this horse has got 39 starts, which is not something. I say it's not something you see much, but then you look down at the doors and he's got 34. So some very heavily raced horses in here. Um, yeah, I'm probably going to be against Cody's Wish in this spot. I'll be using White Barrio if he still runs. I think that running him at 7 furlongs, like at shorter, has proven to be, I think, a little bit better for him. Um, he did very well in the preps last year, going longer, but I feel like once they kind of cut him back to the mile and shorter distance, he's kind of uh, come alive again. So interested in White Barrio in this spot. Obviously, I already mentioned Fortin Hill is one I'm definitely going to use as kind of the pace in this race. Might be a little slow on speed figures, but I think he's gonna go ahead and he's gonna get the advantage via pace. And then I'll be using Endorsed, hoping that Gulfstream Park form carries over. So, yeah, I'll be using those horses in horizontally here.
Speaking of Saffy Joseph and White Bar, have you ever considered dressing up as Saffy Joseph for Halloween?
I have not, but that might be a good idea. I mean, I already like rum. So, and
I like
he's
rum
from
too.
Barbados, so
Oh, all right.
you get a little bit of Barbados rum, and
Nice.
get that scent going. I actually just went to the liquor store and bought, like, I don't know, five bottles of rum or something. So
Yo ho ho.
yeah, so we still got to get out to the tiki bar.
Yes.
We gotta plan that out. But yeah, since I have you here, and
Mhm.
we got a little bit of time, give me some thoughts on the Derby. What are you looking at here in the last race, or race 12 here?
A jumbled pace scenario. I have no idea. I mean, I really don't. I spent so much time the day that the past performances came out for the Derby. I spent so much time trying to come up with a viable pace scenario that I was comfortable with, and I never got comfortable. I don't know what's going to happen, and it's a 20-horse race, and it makes me look back on all the previous years and think, hey, how come I had a better idea of what was going to happen in those races? Well, the answer is this: every year we kind of get groupings of horses that have clearly defined roles and clearly defined pace scenarios. But we have in this race a lot of horses that can do a lot of different things. And I think from top to bottom, there's no huge gap between who's going to get out front and who's going to be way, way far behind. So this is going to be a very contentious pace as far as there's going to be a lot of horses vying to get towards the front, but not very quickly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of forwardly placed horses, but like if you kind of look at it, I think on Brisnet, um, if I remember correctly, let me get down to the bottom. I think there's only one E horse, like just straight E horse in this race, and it's um,
I
I
think there's
think it's
zero. I think there's zero.
no, verifying is an E.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, so verifying is an
That makes sense.
E7, and then you got a bunch of P types, EP types,
Mhm.
and then obviously Derma Sotogake and Continuar, they're not on the scale at this point, but Yeah, it does make for a very murky pace scenario. You know, I've talked this race to death, but I mean, you got any horses that you like, or you're gonna definitely be using, or watching closely in here?
No, I'm gonna pass on the Derby. That's the race that I'm just gonna not bet. No, yes, of course. Um, so here's the fun part: is if someone says you have to choose one, I'm gonna choose Tapit Trice, and it's so lame and boring, and I know. And he's 5-1, and he probably should be more than that, but I think Tapit Trice. Yep, that's fair. That's fair. I get it, but I will tell you that I like Skinner at a price. I really, really do. And it's funny that I said, oh, I really can't tell the pace. But what I can tell is Skinner's not going to be near the front and he'll be coming late. But does he have enough to get the distance? I don't know. And I was 100% sure that I didn't like Two Fills, but I've been talked into Two Fills. And then I also you know, I don't know, man. There's so many horses in here that I think can win. But if I had to narrow it down to a couple, I'll go with number 3, Two Fills, number 5, Tapit Trice, number 9, Skinner, and the last one that I'm going to say that I have to use is Angel of Empire with Pratt. We could get a Brad Cox Oaks Derby double, and if so, I think Angel of Empire is the one that will do it. But this is a tough race, and I think that your best bet of making money is just picking one horse to hit in the exacta, playing a your choice overall and all over your choice, and that's it. That's it just for the race. If you're going to play multiple races or multiple race wagers, obviously you can go deep. I do every year a Derby pick 4 to where it's the 4 races or the 3 late races leading up to the Derby and then the Derby where I pick a single. I pick 3 deep in one race. I pick 4 deep in one race, and then I go all to the Derby. And I think this year it's going to be hard to come up with the single because those races before are a little bit tough. But if you could hit that single and then get through on your 3 horse race and get through on your 4 horse race, no matter who wins the Derby, it's going to pay.
Mm-hmm. I think you might have a single in the 11th race, with the 5, yeah, the 5 up to the mark, but I don't know that's tough.
So that's
Uh,
my 3 race. I'm using Masterpiece up to Mark and Santon in that one, which
that's
means I
exactly where
have
I'm
to.
at. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So that's good. Pay attention, everybody. So yeah, when you do this, you think, okay, how about if I just use Cody's Wish as my single? Yeah, you could do that, but as we talked about, I mean, I like CZ Rocket, I like Hoist the Gold. Um, Maybe I use Cody's Wish and endorse, which means I have to go back to race number 9 to find my single, and that race is one of the most contentious races and one of the most exciting races. But maybe I go major dude. Maybe I just start with a single, hope I hit it, and if I hit it, great, I got a nice ride. And if I don't, well, there's other pick tickets to play. But I'm excited. This is my favorite one weekend, I guess. It's my favorite co-favorite one weekend because I like the Breeders' Cup, but I really like the Derby and Oaks card days. It's just so much fun.
Nice. So where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter. I'm there all the time. I wish Twitter paid me for as much as I'm on there, but I haven't figured out a way to do that yet. But if you're in the Chicagoland area, I'm up in Waukegan, way north. But if you want to come hang out, we're going to have a Circus Sportsbook at the new casino sometime soon. Can't tell you exactly when because I don't know, but sometime soon.
Welcome to Illinois.
Thanks. Does it ever get warm here?
I mean, it got warm like a couple days in March, didn't it?
Eh.
But yeah, Ryan, thanks for taking time out of your day. Make sure that Cubs game gets put on and keep the people happy. So appreciate you
I'll
taking
do
time out of your day.
I'll do the best I can. Thank you very much for having me on. I very much appreciate it. And what people don't know this is we're actually friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are.
So it's good to talk to you, my friend.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks. Appreciate it.